You think you're trading, but you're not. You're waiting for the next alert, the next ding on your phone, the next guru to tell you what to do. And while you wait, your freedom is slipping away. The cruel truth is this: most traders don't fail because of laziness. They fail because they've been trained into dependency. Signals feel like safety, but they're actually the cage. What if the very thing you thought would save you is the reason you're still stuck? Tonight, at the Rebel's Core, we're tearing the mask off the guru scam. So stay with me, because what you're about to hear might just break the chains you didn't even know. You've been lied to. Not once, not twice, but over and over by the very people who claim to be teaching you how to win in this game. They package it as mentorship, as a shortcut, as the secret sauce that only a chosen few can access, if you're willing to pay the fee. But here's the scam they'll never admit out loud. They don't sell you structure. They sell you signals. And signals will never make you free. Think about it. A signal service is like a leash. You're tied to the provider, waiting for the next alert, the next ding on your phone, the next instruction to buy or sell. At first, it feels comforting. Someone else is doing the thinking for you. You feel like you're in on the action, finally connected to the so-called insiders club. But over time, the leash gets tighter. You can't move without them. You can't think without them. You don't even know why you're in the trade. You just press the button because they told you to. And that's the trap. The pain of it is this: signals rob you of the very thing you came to trading for: freedom. You entered the market because you wanted independence, control over your own money, your own time, your own destiny. And instead, you end up chained to another person's system, another person's timing, another person's conviction. You think you're trading, but really, you're outsourcing your thinking. Let me ask you a real question. When was the last time you entered a trade and could explain step by step why you took it? Not because someone told you, not because you saw it on Telegram, not because it popped up on your screen, but because you knew your model demanded it? Be honest with yourself. If the answer makes you uncomfortable, good. Because that discomfort is the doorway to truth. Here's what they don't want you to see. The signal game thrives on dependency. If they taught you structure, if they taught you how to think, if they taught you how to build your own model, you wouldn't need them anymore. Their business would collapse. So they keep you hooked, drip-feeding signals like a drug. Wins sprinkled in just enough to keep your hope alive, losses brushed aside as market conditions. You keep paying month after month, convinced that the next signal, the next package, the next upgrade will finally be the one that changes everything. But it never does. And this is where I need you to pause and reflect. How much money have you already spent chasing someone else's signals? How many months, how many years have you given away to gurus who profit more from your subscription than you ever made in profit yourself? It stings, doesn't it? Because the numbers don't lie. They don't build wealth through their trades. They build wealth through your dependence. Let me tell you a story. I once met a trader who had been paying for signals for over 3 years. 3 years, every month, faithfully like a tithe to a false god. He was disciplined in his payments, but broke in his results. When I asked him why he kept paying, he said, "Because I'm afraid that if I stop, I'll miss the big one." That's how deep the conditioning runs. The scam doesn't just take your money, it hijacks your psychology. It makes you believe your freedom depends on them. But freedom cannot be outsourced. It can't be rented from a guru. Freedom comes when you build a system that doesn't need anyone else's permission. A system where every entry, every stop, every take profit is designed, not dictated. The cruel irony is this: the gurus know it. They know structure is what saves traders, not signals. They know structure builds independence, not dependence. But structure doesn't sell as well as shortcuts. People want the quick fix, the instant answer, the promise of fast profits without the slow grind of building a system. So the gurus exploit that desire. They dangle the dream in front of you while keeping the blueprint locked away. And you pay for the dream, never realizing that the dream was designed to keep you asleep. Now let's flip the lens back on you. Why did you fall for it? Why did you believe that signals could do for you what only structure can? Don't get defensive. This isn't about shame. This is about clarity. You fell for it because you were desperate. Because the pain of losing made you want relief. Because uncertainty is uncomfortable and signals promised certainty. Because in a chaotic market, someone whispering buy here, sell there felt like safety. And I don't blame you. Every trader has felt that pull. The need for someone stronger, smarter, more experienced to hold their hand through the storm. But rebels, we don't stay in that place. We confront it, we admit it, and then we break free. The truth is, signals aren't just a scam because they don't work. They're a scam because they steal from you the very essence of trading, the ability to design, the ability to think, the ability to author your own process. They turn you into a button pusher instead of a trader. And once you've been reduced to that, you've lost the very thing that could have made you consistent. Here's where it gets darker. The gurus don't just sell signals, they sell lifestyle. They flash the rented cars, the fake watches, the vacations funded by your subscriptions. They know you're not just buying trades, you're buying the dream they're parading. But here's the question. If their signals worked, wouldn't they be trading instead of selling? Why would someone who can supposedly make millions from signals bother charging you $99 a month? Let that sink in. And let me push even further. Do you realize how dangerous it is to follow someone's trade blindly? You don't know their risk appetite. You don't know their account size. You don't know their exit plan. You don't know the context behind their decision. You're trying to live in someone else's skin, someone else's psychology, someone else's design. And that never works. Trading is personal. It has to be built to fit your psychology, your structure, your capital. Otherwise, you're just wearing a suit that doesn't fit and wondering why you can't breathe. So when I tell you the guru scam is one of the greatest traps in trading, I don't say it lightly. I've seen too many traders waste years in it. I've seen accounts drained, marriages strained, minds broken, all because someone believed a signal could replace structure. But here's the good news. You don't have to stay there. The moment you see it for what it is, you can begin to rebuild. You can stop waiting for the ding on your phone and start creating your own alerts. Alerts that mean something because they're built on your own logic, your own model. You can stop being a consumer of signals and start being a designer of structure. That's what it means to be a rebel. So I'll leave you with this reflection before we move forward. Ask yourself, are you truly trading or are you just following? Because if you're just following, you're not a trader. You're a dependent. And as long as you're a dependent, freedom will stay out of reach. You're still here, which tells me something. It tells me you're not afraid to confront uncomfortable truths, because what I'm about to say next might sting even more than the first part. The real scam isn't just in what the gurus sell, it's in what they keep you from building. They distract you with signals, but what they're really stealing is your ability to create structure. Let's break that open. Think about what signals do to your mind. They condition you to wait. Wait for the next alert. Wait for the next instruction. Wait for the guru to speak. Instead of training your eyes to see the market, you train your ears to hear the notification sound. Instead of analyzing context, you analyze nothing. You just wait for someone else to hand you certainty. You become passive, reactive, dependent. And once that mindset sets in, even when you want to break free, you find it hard. Because the muscles of design, of critical thinking, of intentional analysis, they've atrophied. You've let them die. Cost of signals. It's not just the subscription fee, it's the years of potential growth you sacrifice. Years when you could have been building a model, testing, failing, refining, learning how to read the market on your own terms. Years you traded away for the comfort of being spoon-fed. And here's the cruel irony. Even when you win with signals, you lose. Because you don't know why you won. You don't know if the entry was part of a repeatable system or just luck. You don't know how to replicate it tomorrow, or next week, or next month. The win feels good in the moment. but it leaves you empty the next day because you have no way to reproduce it. And that's not trading. That's gambling with someone else's dice. Now I need you to pause and really reflect. What's more dangerous, losing money or losing the ability to think? Because money, you can recover. But once your mind has been conditioned to outsource its thinking, once you've trained yourself to lean on someone else's conviction, breaking free becomes an uphill war. And that's what the gurus count on. They don't just want your money, they want your dependency. Because dependency guarantees income. This is why signal services are marketed with urgency. Don't miss this one. Limited spots. This week only. They create the illusion of scarcity to make you feel like you'll be left behind if you don't sign up. But ask yourself, if they truly had a strategy that works, why would they need urgency at all? A real structure doesn't need hype. It proves itself over time. Let me share another story. I met a trader who joined a signal group that promised 90% accuracy. 90%. Sounds bulletproof, doesn't it? He paid, he followed every trade, and at first, it seemed to work. He had a week of wins. But then came the string of losses. The accuracy dropped, the guru went silent, and the group started blaming unforeseen market conditions. My friend kept waiting for the bounce back, but the bounce never came. His account was drained, but worse than that, his trust was drained. He didn't just lose money, he lost confidence in himself. That's the other piece of the scam, the erosion of your identity. When you follow signals and lose, you don't just blame the guru, you start blaming yourself. You think, maybe I executed it wrong. Maybe I wasn't disciplined enough. Maybe I missed the nuance. You internalize failure that doesn't even belong to you. And slowly you start believing that maybe you're just not cut out for trading. That's how the scam kills dreams. Not just by draining wallets, but by convincing people to walk away before they ever discovered their own potential. And I'll be blunt here. If you've been stuck in signals for months or years, it's not just the guru's fault. It's yours too. Because deep down, you wanted the shortcut. You wanted the ease. You wanted to bypass the grind of structure. And as long as you keep chasing shortcuts, there will always be someone ready to sell them to you. The scam survives because traders keep funding it. But rebels, we think differently. We don't run from the grind. We embrace it. Because we know that the grind of structure builds freedom, while the comfort of signals builds chains. The grind hurts now, but it liberates later. Signals feel good now, but they enslave you later. That's the trade-off. And if you don't face it, you'll keep circling the same cycle of hope, failure, and dependency. Let me ask you something personal. When was the last time you sat down and designed your own rules? Not copied, not borrowed, not bought. Designed. When was the last time you took ownership of your trading instead of renting someone else's system? If your answer is never, then you know exactly why you're stuck. You're waiting for freedom to be handed to you, when freedom only comes to those who build it. I need you to understand this at a deeper level. The scam works because it aligns perfectly with human weakness. Humans crave certainty. We hate not knowing. We hate ambiguity. And signals pretend to remove that uncertainty. They give you a yes or no, a buy or sell, a clear path in the fog. But the market is uncertainty. It's risk wrapped in chaos. If you can't learn to thrive in that ambiguity, you'll never last. Signals rob you of that training. They shelter you from discomfort. So when the storm hits, you collapse. This is why the rebel path is harder in the beginning, because rebels confront uncertainty head on. We don't hide from it. We learn to navigate it. We build systems that turn chaos into order, patterns into recurrence, randomness into probability. It's not as flashy as signals. It doesn't give you the dopamine rush of an instant trade, but it builds something signals never can. Sovereignty, the ability to stand in the market with conviction that isn't borrowed but built. And here's where it gets painfully real. Most traders never make it to that level. Not because they can't, but because they won't. They're too addicted to the shortcut, too in love with the illusion of ease, too afraid to let go of the leash, and so they stay stuck in the loop. They start with hope, they buy signals, they win a little, they lose a lot, they quit for a while, then they come back and buy again. Over and over, like a wheel that never stops turning. And the gurus laugh all the way to the bank. But I believe something different about you. I believe you're here because you're tired of the loop. You're tired of being spoon-fed. You're tired of outsourcing your freedom. You're ready to confront the hard truth and do the harder work. And if that's true, then let me say this clearly. The only way out of the guru scam is to stop renting your future and start building it. Stop buying signals and start designing structure. Stop waiting for someone else to validate your trades and start validating your own. Stop playing the follower and start becoming the architect. Because trading is not about copying someone else's conviction. It's about creating your own. And until you do that, every win will feel hollow, every loss will feel devastating, and every month, you'll be back at square one. But once you build structure, once you commit to design over dependency, you'll finally step into the freedom you came here for. So let's get honest, rebels. The guru scam is not just their fault, it's also our wake-up call. It forces us to decide, will we keep chasing the comfort of signals, or will we embrace the grind of structure? Will we keep renting, or will we build? Okay? That's the fork in the road. And your choice today will determine not just your trading, but your identity. Let's go deeper, because what's happening here isn't just about money. It's about psychology. It's about identity. When you buy into signals, you're not just paying for trades. You're paying to outsource responsibility. You're handing over the weight of decision-making to someone else. Because making decisions in the face of uncertainty is uncomfortable. But here's the catch. You can outsource responsibility, but you can't outsource consequence. When the signal fails, the loss is yours. When the drawdown hits, the pain is yours. When the account blows, the shame is yours. The guru moves on, but you're left holding the wreckage. Do you see the imbalance? They get the money, you get the mess. They walk away richer, you walk away weaker. And over time, this does something devastating to your psyche. You start to doubt yourself, not just as a trader, but as a thinker. You stop trusting your judgment. You silence your instincts. You bury your creativity. Because every loss feels like confirmation that you're not capable. And that's exactly how dependency is reinforced. You don't just buy signals because you want to. You buy them because you no longer believe you can trade without them. That's the psychological cage. I want you to imagine something with me. Imagine a trader who has been on signals for 3 years. Every week they pay. Every week they wait. Every week they trade. At the end of 3 years, what do they have? A pile of statements filled with trades they didn't design, lessons they didn't learn, and habits they didn't build. Ask them to explain their edge, and they can't. Ask them to walk you through a model, and they can't. Ask them to describe how they manage uncertainty, and they'll point to their guru. Now contrast that with the trader who, in those same 3 years, grinds, who fails, tests, journals, refines, who spends countless nights staring at charts, breaking down behavior, spotting patterns, and challenging assumptions. At the end of 3 years, even if that trader hasn't made millions, they've built something priceless: competence, sovereignty, conviction. They may not have perfect consistency yet, but they have ownership, and ownership compounds. The difference is stark. One trader has 3 years of dependency, the other has 3 years of design. One has rented signals, the other has authored structure. One walks in circles, the other walks forward. And in the long run, only one survives. You see, trading is not about who wins today. It's about who lasts tomorrow. And signals don't build durability. They build fragility. They train you to lean on someone else's crutch. So the moment that crutch breaks, you collapse. But structure builds durability. It may be slow, it may be painful, it may demand sacrifice, but it builds legs that can carry you through any season. Let me tell you the cruelest part of the guru scam. It doesn't just sell you signals, it sells you the illusion of progress. Because every time you buy, it feels like you're doing something. It feels like you're moving forward. You tell yourself, this time will be different. This time I found the right mentor, the right group, the right signal provider. That hope feels like momentum, but it's not momentum. It's stagnation disguised as movement. It's running on a treadmill, sweating hard, but going nowhere. And traders waste years on that treadmill. Some waste decades. And by the time they wake up, they realize they've invested more into feeding someone else's structure than into building their own. That realization is devastating. But for those who see it early, for those who wake up now, that realization can be the turning point. So let's talk about the pivot. The pivot from dependency to design, from signals to structure, from renting conviction to owning it. That pivot doesn't start with charts or strategies or entries. It starts with identity. It starts with the decision that you will no longer outsource your freedom, that you will no longer rent your future, that you will no longer sell your sovereignty for the price of a subscription. That decision is uncomfortable because it means walking away from the safety net, even if that net is a lie. It means taking full responsibility for every decision, every win, every loss. It means confronting the raw chaos of the market without a voice telling you what to do. And at first, that feels terrifying. But that terror is also the doorway. Because only when you step into that space do you begin to build muscles you never had before. Think of it like lifting weights. If you've spent years having someone else carry the barbell for you, your arms will always be weak. But the moment you start lifting, even if it's shaky, even if you drop it a few times, you start building strength. Every rep compounds. Every failure teaches. Every set makes you harder to break. And over time, you transform. That's what structure does for you as a trader. It transforms you from dependent to independent, from follower to author, from gambler to architect. And here's the beautiful thing. Once you've built structure, no one can take it from you. A guru can't scam it out of you. A market loss can't erase it. A bad week can't destroy it. Because it's not external, it's internal. It's woven into how you see, how you think, how you engage. And when you reach that point, signals don't even tempt you anymore. They look small, shallow, cheap. Because once you've tasted sovereignty, dependency feels like poison. Once you've built conviction, rented confidence feels hollow. Once you've authored structure, borrowed trades feel beneath you. That's the shift. But let's be real. Most traders never make that shift. Not because they don't have the ability, but because they don't have the courage. Because building structure is lonely. It's slow. It doesn't give you quick dopamine hits. It doesn't give you a daily flood of wins. It asks you to trust a process that may not pay off immediately. It asks you to confront yourself, your flaws, your biases, your impulses. And most people would rather numb themselves with signals than face that truth. But rebels, you're not most people. You wouldn't be here if you were. You're here because something in you refuses to settle for dependency. You're here because you sense that there's more. You're here because you're willing to endure the discomfort of building rather than the illusion of progress. And that willingness sets you apart. So let me ask you straight. Are you ready to stop renting and start building? Are you ready to stop feeding the guru scam and start designing your own path? Are you ready to embrace the grind that leads to freedom instead of the ease that leads to chains? Because that's the decision point, and only you can make it. I'll close this part with a truth that's uncomfortable but necessary. The scam works because traders choose it, but it ends when traders stop choosing it. The moment you decide you will no longer buy signals, no longer outsource your sovereignty, no longer feed someone else's structure, you kill the scam. Not just for you, but for the whole ecosystem. Because scams die when they starve. And every rebel who chooses structure over signals is a blow against the entire system of manipulation. So rebels, starve the scam, build the structure, own your future. That's the path. By now you can feel it. The weight of this truth pressing on you. The scam isn't hidden in plain sight. It's been right in front of you the whole time. And yet you kept hoping, kept subscribing, kept pressing buy and sell when someone told you to. Don't beat yourself up. That hope was human. That need for certainty was human. But now you've seen the game for what it is, and once you see, you can't unsee. So the question that matters most is this. What do you do now? You stop feeding the scam. You stop giving your money, your time, your faith to people who profit from your dependence. You stop waiting for signals and start designing structure. You stop outsourcing your sovereignty and start reclaiming it. But don't get it twisted. This isn't about switching one provider for another. This isn't about finding a better signal group. This is about burning the whole model to the ground and choosing a different path entirely. A path built on authorship, on design, on intentionality. Because here's the reality: no amount of signals will make you consistent. No amount of gurus will make you sovereign. The only way forward is through the grind of building your own structure. The grind of testing, failing, journaling, refining. The grind of learning not just the market, but yourself. Because structure isn't just technical, it's psychological, it's spiritual. It's the architecture of how you think, how you act, how you stay consistent under fire. And that can't be sold to you. It has to be built by you. Do you feel the shift? That quiet, uncomfortable pull in your chest? That's not fear. That's responsibility. That's ownership knocking on your door, asking if you're ready to stop being a follower and start being a rebel. The gurus will keep calling. They'll flash their rented cars, their staged profits, their polished sales funnels. They'll keep dangling the dream of quick riches and easy wins. But now you know the truth. It's bait. It's a cage. And cages, no matter how gold they look, are still cages. So here's the fork in the road. You can go back to the cage, back to the leash, back to the comfort of being told what to do, knowing deep down it will never set you free. Or you can choose the harder path, the slower path, the rebel path, the path of structure. And make no mistake, it is harder. It demands more of you. It forces you to face your impulses, your weaknesses, your excuses. It strips you bare and leaves you with nothing but your raw self and the market staring back at you. But it's also the only path worth walking. Because on the other side of that grind is freedom. On the other side is confidence that cannot be shaken, conviction that cannot be sold, independence that cannot be rented. That's what it means to be a rebel. To reject the shortcuts, to reject the cages, and to build instead. To build your own structure, to build your own process, to build your own conviction. You see, the scam will never die because gurus stop selling. It will die because traders stop buying. And you can be part of that shift. You can be the trader who says no more. You can be the trader who stops being food for the system and starts being fire against it. You can be the trader who refuses to rent signals and instead builds legacy. And when enough rebels rise up with that mindset, the whole landscape changes. The power shifts. The game transforms. Because the gurus can't survive without you, but you can survive without them. In fact, you can thrive without them. So this is the charge. Stop waiting for signals. Start building structure. Stop chasing shortcuts. Start embracing process. Stop renting conviction. Start owning it. This is Trading Rebels. And here, we don't glorify signals. We don't worship gurus. We don't outsource sovereignty. We build. We author. We design. And if you're ready to walk that path, then you belong here. So I'm going to challenge you. Don't just listen and nod. Act. Start with something small. Take one piece of your trading and design it. Maybe it's your entry criteria. Maybe it's your risk rules. Maybe it's your journaling process. But take it back. Author it. Make it yours. Then build from there. Because small structure compounds into big structure. And before you know it, you're no longer a consumer. You're a creator. And that, Rebels, is where freedom lives. If this hit you, if you know in your gut that this was the truth you needed to hear, then don't walk away silently. Stand with the rebels. Subscribe to the channel. Share this with someone who's still trapped in the scam. Drop your thoughts in the comments, because your voice might be the one that wakes another trader up. And keep checking in, because here, we're dismantling the lies one by one. We're exposing the scams, burning the cages, and building structures that last. This isn't just content, it's a movement. And every time you show up, you're solidifying that movement. So to every rebel listening, keep your head high, keep your structure tight, and remember, signals may try to tempt you, but you're not here to follow. You're here to author. You're here to design. You're here to build freedom on your own terms. And no guru, no scam, no signal will ever take that from you again. Welcome to the rebellion, and I'll see you in the next one.